Hey everybody, Brian Horvath here with BrianHorvath.com. Excited to be here with you on another LinkedIn Live Q&A every Wednesday at noon. Really excited about what we have to talk about today, so I won't belabor the introduction and getting on to all the, kind of catching up, but we'll get right into the content today. Got a couple things to review with you, and then going to jump in right into what today's all about, and it's how to get your get target employers and hiring managers and people you want to call you, people of influence to call you immediately from your call to action. So we're going to talk about that. So let's get going without any further ado. Again, Brian Horvath here with the LinkedIn Live Q&A that we do every single Wednesday. And I'm really excited to be able to go over what we're going to talk about today. So give me a second here. I'm going to pull up our little slide deck here and we'll jump in. Okay. So just a reminder, every Wednesday at noon, we have this live LinkedIn Q&A. And today's topic is how to get the prospective LinkedIn employers to call you immediately. So basically what I'm trying to say there is everybody that's on LinkedIn has a need, right? We all have needs. We all have wants. We all have needs. And for those employers that are out there looking to fill needs, to hire solutions that you bring to the table, right? They have problems. And you are the solution, and that's what they're looking to hire. They're looking to hire a solution to their problem. And so we want to be able to communicate with these folks, communicate with them effectively. And so we want to learn how to get these prospective LinkedIn employers to call you immediately. You know, time and time again, we talk about how many people there are on LinkedIn today. There are over 740 million people on LinkedIn across the world, and 95% of recruiters have an active profile on LinkedIn. And they're out there looking for people like you and people like me to help them solve their problems. And if you have a great profile, but not getting any action or getting any activity or having any next steps being taken, then what's the point? We want to solve for that today. We want to help you to not just to be found on LinkedIn, to be recognized for your skills, abilities, your talents, the solutions you bring to the table and all that good stuff. We want them to take next steps with you and you with them, so that you can be employed, hired, whether it be for a W-2 position, whether it be for a contract labor, 1099, or maybe it's a simple volunteer role. Maybe it's a high-level volunteer role that has a certain criteria that you fit. How are you being recognized? How do people know you? How are they able to communicate with you if they don't know you exist, or if they're not willing to take the next steps with you? We want to solve for that today. We want to change that. So today's topic: how to get prospective LinkedIn employers to call you immediately. And a lot of this that I talk about here are questions that come across over the years of me coaching on LinkedIn. And I've been coaching hundreds of people over at LinkedIn since 2013. And I love to make that number 1,000. So here's my first call to action. Sign up for my workshop and webinar, How to Make the Right Connections on LinkedIn. You can do that at brianhorvath.com/LinkedIn. You can also go to the YouTube channel that I have, and where this will be later on. This live video will be posted for you to look at later on. And there's a whole slew of LinkedIn videos to help you make the right connections on LinkedIn, make the most of your opportunities that exist on the platform, the world's #1 most professional network. And you want to be there, you want to be found, right? So how to get prospective LinkedIn employers to call you immediately. Let's get into it. But before we do that, let's get a quick review from last week. Last week, we talked about how to get your LinkedIn connection request accepted quickly. And it's a very similar topic to what we'll talk about today. The folks that you've connected with over the years may be folks that you just had maybe an interest in, or maybe you had a similar role as them, or maybe you had just like mind, like values, or maybe they're employees in your company that your colleagues that you want to connect with, right? But a lot of times we want to be proactive about connecting with employers. So we talked about last time in the last video, or last YouTube video, if you watched it on YouTube, or if you watched this LinkedIn Live Q&A, we talked about how to get your LinkedIn connection request accepted quickly, so that you can not only grow your network and that person that you're connecting with can grow theirs, but you guys can work together to see if there's a next step you all could take. Well, a couple of things we talked about was 5 F's. One is you want to have a foundation, a firm foundation in your platform. You want to have a good network. You want to have good dialogue, good keywords, all that kind of stuff. You also want to take time within the platform to focus on your targets, right? Knowing where you want to go and who needs most what you do best, right? Who needs most what you do best. You want to focus on those targets and those opportunities there. We also want you to be friendly, right? Not to be entitled, not to just expect everyone just to connect, not just to keep pressing that connect button, connect, but to be insightful, to be friendly, to be targeted, and to share common ground. That's a good way to get your LinkedIn request accepted. Look at the profile of the person you're connecting with. Find common ground, find linkage, find ways that you have similar experiences or similar backgrounds or going in the same direction, right? Maybe you have the same faith, or maybe you're in the same city and even know it or had been in the same city. And actually shared a story about how very quickly, in a matter of hours, somebody I think of somewhat of high influence in my town, actually we lived in another city together in Ohio, we never knew each other, but we also have similar purpose and passions to help people, serving people. And quickly, I invited her to connect, and she connected, and she says, oh my gosh, we got a lot in common. Be glad to connect. So somebody that I wanted to connect with, and I found using these 5 F's. Of course, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I finished with a call to action. Simple. Will you connect with me? If you don't mind, would you accept my connection requests? Thanks in advance. So we talked about all that last week. You can go watch that video. But that's a quick review from last week. So again, I talked about a lot of these videos that I do come from questions from you, from people that have been on my webinars or workshops or in coaching sessions, whether it's career coaching or it's counseling, or if it's LinkedIn specific, or someone that may be unemployed, whatever the case may be. When they go to use LinkedIn, they have a lot of questions, and a lot of those questions come up for a lot of people. And I thought, well, we need to have this show to be able to share those answers with you. And so what we're going to talk about today is a question I get a lot of: how do I get prospective LinkedIn employers to call me? Well, there are millions of jobs on LinkedIn as a platform, and there are millions of people on the platform, but there's competition because there's less jobs than there are people looking for these jobs. So how do we set you apart? How do we get you to connect? How do we get prospective employers to actually call you, to take next steps with you? That's a call to action, right? It could be a phone call. It could be an email. It could be a text. It could be an in-person visit or a coffee or a meeting on Zoom, whatever the case may be, but it's a next step. You want to call to action that next step. You want to be able to take appropriate action, appropriate next steps, and you got to be courageous. You got to be bold at the right time. Sometimes you got to be a little bit more subtle. There's a combination. There's an art and a science, as a lot of folks like to say. There's an art of how to do it, and there's a science. There's a methodology behind it as well, and how it all works. So we're going to talk about some of that today. So first of all, let's talk about what is a CTA. I've talked about it many times. I've said it many times, but a CTA is a call to action. It's putting out a next step opportunity. It's inviting someone to take a next step with you, whether it's your product, whether it's your service, whether it's just your solution you bring to the problem they have, right? If you're looking for employment, whether it's looking potentially for a donation for a nonprofit. There are so many ways to use LinkedIn, so many ways to use call to actions. And you have to do it with your style. You have to do it with integrity. You need to do it with courage, and do it what's appropriate. We're going to talk about some of those ways today. Ultimately, you're going to have to decide for yourself, but a CTA is exactly this. A CTA is a marketing term, essentially. And what are you doing? We're all Well, I'm not marketing. Yes, you are. I'm not in sales. I can never be in sales. You are. We're asking people to do things. We're asking people to take next steps. We're basically transferring the enthusiasm of our idea to somebody else, and that's sales. And there's an ask attached to it, right? If you ask your boss for a raise, that's marketing. If you've asked a client to do something for you, that's marketing. If you asked your kids to do something for you, or to do something the first time, you're marketing your idea to that other person. Okay, you're selling that idea, you're promoting that idea. It's an ask, right? So this marketing term, a call to action, refers to the next step a marketer or a person who wants something done or to get something done takes, or wants the audience or reader to take. Again, a call to action is a marketing term that refers to the next step a marketer wants its audience or reader to take. Okay, it could be a sale, it could be a donation, it could be volunteering, it could be ask for a raise. It could be me asking one of my clients to write an endorsement for me. It could be, there's many calls to action. You get the picture, right? So a call to action, CTA. Why are CTAs important to me and my purpose? Well, they help us move forward. They help us to know our purpose. They help us to live our purpose, and they help us to love our purpose. And a call to action is much easier when you actually know your purpose. And there's a whole bunch of other videos I can share with you on that. Again, check out my YouTube channel or download my book, brianhorvath.com/book, called Your Purpose, How to Know It, Live It, Love It. that makes it a lot easier to do this. It makes it a lot easier to be courageous. It makes it a lot easier to take the right steps when you have a call to action on your LinkedIn profile or in life when you know your purpose. But why are CTAs important to me and my purpose? Okay. What kind of CTAs can I have? Well, especially within LinkedIn, since this is a LinkedIn Live Q&A, especially with LinkedIn, it's important to have a CTA in many different ways, in many different opportunities, in many different formats, and I'm going to show you how to do that within your LinkedIn profile. So let's move forward here. I'm going to make the screen a little bigger and kind of overstep my picture here. So, okay, what do we have? We have two kinds of CTAs. We have a soft CTA, and we have a hard CTA. A softer sale and a more firm, hard, bold sale, right? I kind of think about Sears. Back in the day, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about marketing in general and things like that. And we talked about Sears. And I remember as a kid walking into Sears and seeing all the craftsman tools. And I mean, they even had like lawnmowers in Sears. I mean, you could buy a whole bunch of stuff for your house or your garage or your toolkits or whatever of craftsman tools. And I remember it was all on the right hand side and the John Deere was on the left. All that was saying is like that was kind of like what I realized what I thought of Sears. But later on they did a campaign called the softer side of Sears. They thought we have so much more to offer, right? Here's the softer side of Sears. That's more like the home goods and houseware, probably more targeted to women at that point because just the way the ads were run, the music that was played, and all that kind of stuff. Just a more subtle, softer, not the rough side. Not that it couldn't apply to both, but I will say that that's kind of what we think about when we think about CTAs. Are we going to promote housewares and homewares and good, comforters and linens and pots and pans and just kind of have that softer, homier, more hospitality feel, in our CTAs and our call to actions? Or are we going to have a hard driving, defined, specific, like there's no doubt this is my call to action and there's no wavering and I want someone to do something? Well, let's look at both of those, okay? I kind of gave you the next slides away already. But a soft CTA is an invitation. It's, would you consider, how about you check out? Would you like to come with me? It'd be great to have you if you're willing and able. Those are kind of softer CTAs. They're not so firm. They're not so bold. They're invitations. They're not expectations. They're not looking for an answer right away. A hard CTA, though, is more of a firm question or even a command. Do this, do that. Here's your next step. There's no other next steps but this one. It's firm. It's a command. It's asking someone to make a decision and pretty quickly. Because whether there's only so much time to make this decision, there's only so many resources to go around. Hey, I'm only available at this time or that time. It's more like would you like to meet for coffee? I have 9 and 11. Which one works for you? It's pretty firm as opposed to the open-ended, softer CTA going, hey, whatever works for you, you tell me. Neither one are bad. They're both good. They just have their time and place, and depending on your relationship, depending on your state of urgency, depending on your next steps you want someone to take and how quickly, that's where you would determine to deploy a soft or a hard CTA. Now we can do that all on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you how to do that here. Okay, so moving forward, here's my CTA, and again, there's variance for these CTAs depending on your audience, depending on your timing, depending on the venue, depending on how much time you have to share. But as I talk to people and I realize they're living paycheck to paycheck, if I talk to people and they're realizing they're stuck in their job, they feel they don't have purpose, they're wondering what's next. Can I get to Friday? Oh no, it's Monday. Oh yay, it's Friday. Are you wondering what on earth you were here to do? Why were you made? What's the purpose of life, right? Those kinds of things. People have those questions all day. People think about wealth, health, and relationships. I learned that from Russell Brunson's and Stephen Larson. These guys are great marketers in the country. I've also remember working at our church when we asked the congregation of thousands of people, what are things you're praying for? And those things people were praying for were their faith, they were praying for their finances, they were praying for their family and relationships, they were praying for their jobs, and they were praying for their health. Those kinds of things. So depending on your dialogue with someone and where you're going, different CTAs make different places, may fit in different places. For me, I help people to know, live, and love their purpose, right? So I'm trying to extract out of someone where they're at with their finances, where they're at with their career, where they're at with in their life purpose. Are they fulfilled? Are they having fun? Do they have joy? Or is it drudgery? Is it pain? And they're trying to escape that to go to pleasure. Whatever the case may be, these are some marketing things that I learned over the years that make sense for all of us. No matter if we're dealing with our family, no matter if we're dealing with LinkedIn, no matter if we're dealing with our work or finances, whatever the case may be, our neighbor, a volunteer position. Like I said, it covers a lot of things. This is great stuff for you to know across the board. But specifically, this is kind of my CTA. If people are struggling with finances, struggling with their career, struggling with life purpose. A soft CTA for me to take with them would be, hey, I can help. I'll encourage you to visit my website, check out some of my tools and resources there. Hey, visit my YouTube channel. I have some great videos on LinkedIn. And download my free book if you really want to know your purpose, how to know it, live it, love it. It's a book for you. So those are some softer CTAs. It's an invitation for people to take a next step. With a harder driving CTA, I might say with my content and courses, I help people know, live, and love the purpose for their career and finances. To see their job and their money as tools to accomplish their life purpose. So it's a little bit more explanation. And then the hard CTA is this: I can help. Hire me to be your coach. Enroll in my ultimate LinkedIn profile course. Purchase my online training series on 7 ways in 7 days to change your financial future forever. Those are kind of harder CTAs. It gives someone a specific thing to do next, and it says, I can do this, trust me. Hey, you want to buy this, want to buy that, want to trade this, trade that, do you want to serve with me here? And so that's where you have to you got to do it in your style, but you have to consider soft or hard, and maybe sometimes in the middle. And sometimes it's a blend. Again, try, track, and modify. Try, track, and modify as you go, and learn as you go. So let's get this into LinkedIn and how we get to it. Where should I place, on LinkedIn specifically, my calls to action? And there are plenty of places. There's not just one. Some of these may surprise you. And so some of these may be a great thing any of this you can do right away because it's digital space. You're not hiring someone to print something for you. You can go right in today to your LinkedIn profile and drop these in. Maybe you haven't been there in a while. Maybe you haven't been to their LinkedIn profile in a while. So here we go. Where should I place my CTA? Your headline. You could place it in your headline. That's a great next step. Is your headline in your LinkedIn profile? And this is where I'm going to make these a little bigger. I'm going to move over a little bit so you can see. Right here in my headline, I have my profile keyword phrase. Okay, speaker, trainer, customer success, coach, helping people to know, live, and love the purpose for their career and finances. The call to action is after you give your keyword phrase and your expertise statement, you want to have open to new opportunities. Open to new opportunities if you are unemployed. Open to new opportunities if you just are open to other kind of client work. Open to new opportunities if you're open to, new opportunities. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be some big deal, okay? But it is huge just to let people know you're open, especially if we're talking about hiring managers or recruiters or people that don't want to waste time with folks that are satisfied in their work, that aren't looking, that are maybe even status quo. They don't want to contact those people as much as they want to contact someone like you who fits what they need to solve. Remember, what they need most, can you do best what they need most? And if you fit that mold and you're open to new opportunities, that's a quick way to get folks to call you immediately. We're going to show you exactly how they can call you. Because you're like, Brian, my phone number's not there. Oh, but wait. So let's continue to go down the road here. So in your About section is the other place. And this is where you can put some key information for people to contact you immediately. Especially if they like what you're all about. I want you to see that you have a great next step for them in your phone number and email address, as you can see with those arrows right there. Your phone number and your email, okay? So this is huge. A lot of folks miss this opportunity. Now, I will say this. Let me fix this here. You can have your email and your phone number in your contact info box up in LinkedIn on your profile page. But you're going to get a lot more activity if you're able to have this in your profile as well, because not everybody sees that contact info box. Not everybody thinks to click it, even though it would make sense to do it. Now, recruiters tend to do it more because they're using LinkedIn every single day and they're looking for ways to connect and contact you. I would encourage you to put it in both places. Make sure it's public, that people can see your phone number, can see your email in your contact info box. That's easy to say, right? But also you want to have it in your about section. You want people to connect with you, make sure they have your email address. Maybe they want to email you about a job opportunity. Put your email address there. And then put your phone number there. Okay, put your phone number there. You see I have a little simple call to action. It's more of a soft CTA to brainstorm and collaborate on any of these perspectives. Call me at. And if you look at my about section up above, it says all what I do, what my skills are, what my personality assessments were like, what my strength finders assessment was, what do I do best? Okay, that kind of thing. So that's a great place, one of the best places to put your CTA. You can also put it in your experience. It's not just about listing what you did at a role, but maybe there's a next step you want someone to specifically take with that role, or maybe in your most recent role, you might want to put something there as, if you'd like me to do this for you, call me at, or email me at, text me at, whatever the case may be. I put a different little twist here. When I was executive director of a national nonprofit, one of the driving revenue factors, of course the main driving revenue factor, was donations from people that were either had been blessed by the ministry that we did, or just thought, they loved helping people that were in career transition. So here's a great way to put a call to action in for people to donate if they'd like to. Okay, you can invest in the work that Crossroads Career is doing by going here and put the donate URL there. So again, a different little twist on a call to action. You can do that too within your experience. Now let's talk about publications. For me, being an author, content creator, speaker, consultant, and coach, there are publications that I've written, or works that I've done, whether it be workbooks or courses or classes or different kinds of things. And in those descriptions of those publications, you can put a call to action about where folks can get access to it, whether it's for free or for a cost and investment. You can put that there. Here I put a couple of different calls to action to URLs where they can get a free bonus book or free no gimmicks guide to change their financial future forever. Matter of fact, I encourage you, as you're listening to this, to go there. They can also go and check out my testimony and story about how my wife and I were able to pay off $99,600 in less than a year of our mortgage. That's in there too, so they can check that out. Again, within publications, it's a nice way to call to action. Not just see what people wrote or what you wrote or what project you worked on, what you did, but for people to actually take action on it, to take next steps with it. Okay? Good stuff here. So there's a couple ways. Let's look at those one more time. We got, in a backwards order, publications, we have our experience, we have our about, and we have our headline. And there's probably a couple more that I missed or for time's sake couldn't get to. You can tell me about what you think could be a great call to action. I would love to share it with others as well. Let's continue to roll through here. And as we look at how do you conduct your CTA, your calls to action beyond your profile edits, okay? Well, one of the best ways, because LinkedIn, again, is a database, and on top of that database is a visual interface. But all a database this is a people and keywords and, making that all work together. We talk more about that in my Ultimate LinkedIn Profile course and my How to Make the Right Connections on LinkedIn free webinar and workshop. But your LinkedIn connection request is one of the ultimate calls to action. As you can see here, I reached out to a gentleman. He's a CFO at a multi-million-dollar organization here in the Tampa Bay area where I live. And I said, "Hi, James. It was nice to meet you via the phone today. Thanks for joining us in the phone call as we discussed how to best serve your teams with their personal finances." And this is basically me trying to, or inviting these guys to join me and me working with them to help their employees and not struggle with their personal finances. If you wouldn't mind, here's the call to action. Here's the CTA. If you wouldn't mind, let's connect here on LinkedIn. Let's connect here on LinkedIn. And not only do I put my phone number, but I put my email address. Those are two ways to get it done. Okay, those are two ways to get it done. And another way, so as you're inviting people to connect, we talked about how to do that, right? Have a foundation, right? Be, I almost forgot them already. Be friendly, right? Have a call to action. Those are some of those 5 F's. The other 2 I need to go look at. But you see right in the framework what I did for how I invite people to connect, all right? And how to take next steps. So again, if you don't ASK, you won't GET. And I mean that in the most respectful way. If you don't ask, then you probably won't get. People just don't think about others, they think about themselves. We all naturally do that. But until you ASK, you won't GET. So ask, and ask with respect, with reverence, with the right setting, with the right hard or soft call to action. So again, your call to action is great within LinkedIn requests. A couple other ways, of course, as you're following up with opportunities and with jobs. Your phone, your email, text, all those things you want to be open to, especially if you're the one that's seeking a new job or seeking a next step with an employer. But also if you're seeking that as a work with prospective clients, be available for them. Show that you're seeking to serve and you're ready to serve. It doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. It just means you're available. You want to take the right next steps. You want them to be able to get a hold of you. Just have that open mindset, that seeking to serve philosophy that we talk about so many times. Seeking to serve those who need most with what you do best. Okay? So as we wind down here, this I think was very exciting for me to put together because I remembered a lot of things myself that I could be even doing better and be more cognizant of. Every time the teacher teaches, he learns. And so I thank you for that opportunity to serve you, and I get to learn as well. So how to get prospective LinkedIn employers to call you immediately? Again, one of my favorite things is having that call to action with your phone number and your email right at the bottom of your About section. But sometimes, well, the About section is not first. One of the best ways is in your headline too. Open to new opportunities. Oh, let's go see what this guy's all about or gal's all about. Oh, here's a phone number. Here's the email. Had a recruiter call me last week and say, hey, Brian, we'd love to interview you for a role if you're open to it. It wasn't for me, but I actually thought, I think I can serve this gentleman with some work I do with job boards and with career websites. And so he signed up for free for a job connection site, which is one of my clients, to be able to list his job in the Atlanta area. And so that was neat. So I kind of wasn't just discounting him or going, nah, there's nothing else to be said here. I'm not interested in what you have to offer. I thought, wait a second, there's a way we can serve him. Consider that. People are coming into your influence for a reason. How are you serving them? How are you ASKing to GET? How are you calling people to action? And I think you'll be a lot better for it. You'll be able to better make the right connections on LinkedIn. You'll be hired more quickly. You'll be connected and growing your network more quickly. And you'll be able to get done what you're supposed to get done as you know, live, and love the purpose for your career and finances. Okay, so as we continue to move forward here, next week's live is going to be about real short, how to back up your LinkedIn connections. How to back up your LinkedIn connections. It's important to back up LinkedIn connections because at any given time, LinkedIn can pull the carpet out from us because we don't own the platform. We're renting that digital real estate, right? So all the hard work you put into backing or to building your contacts, creating connections on LinkedIn, are you going to back them up so you don't ever lose them, so you always have them? And there's other things you can do with them with approval from folks. But we'll talk about that, next week. So I invite you to join me next Wednesday at noon, right here at the same place. And if you happen to miss that, you'll find it on YouTube as a replay. Oh, and by the way, did you notice that? That was a call to action. So I hope you have a great day. Go get them. So thankful for you. Continue to know, live, and love the purpose for your career and finances. And thanks for being here with me today. Go get them.